Action News Now Storm Tracker weather. Coverage you can count on.
Some pleasant news on the way in your Thursday forecast as it's getting a bit cooler across the region. However, you can see skies still very hazy out there for the start of your morning. The background of Lake Oroville right now, that's the valley floor. You're not really able to make it out. You can see down to the lake right now, so it's better than what we saw during the peak of the fires. But right now, air quality is still very much impacted for today. Mostly mild for temperatures today, smoke limiting air quality, and a big cooling trend is on the way in your extended forecast. We also, though, do have a red flag warning going into effect from 2 to 8 p.m. for Modoc County. That's due to locally gusty winds and low humidity in that area. So we're going to be watching that very closely through the day, especially late in the afternoon into the evening hours. Temperatures this morning topping out, or bottoming out, I should say, in the high 50s to low 60s for the valley. So you may want that extra layer on your way out the door. 59 degrees for both Redding and Chico right now, low 60s elsewhere. Higher elevations in the 40s for the most part this morning, and mid to high 50s in the foothills right now. Satellite and radar showing you clear skies overhead as far as clouds go, but hazy skies are expected for today from that smoke from the active fires. And we are sandwiched right now between two low pressure cooler systems, one off to our east. You can see that's taking a lot of active weather off towards the Midwest. We're also seeing high pressure building in right now. That's keeping us dry for today. Remember, high means dry, but then another cooler system is dropping into the region later on this afternoon into this evening. That is going to keep our high temperatures in check. It's also going to leave us with cooler weather tomorrow than today, but that'll pass through fairly quickly by tomorrow afternoon and evening. And then we're left with a little bump in temperatures on the way for your weekend before the cooling trend continues heading into next week. And I should also mention, even though we are seeing that cooler system on the way, it's going to stay dry across Northern California. Getting a look at what we're seeing for today. Temperatures in the low 60s to high 50s at 6 a.m. We'll be in the mid to high 70s by noon. Temperatures topping out anywhere from the mid 80s to low 90s later on today. Mountain areas starting out in the 40s this morning, mid 70s by noon, then topping out mostly in the low to mid 80s later today. A couple cities in the northern mountains may top out in the low 90s. And your Storm Tracker 7-day forecast, where your weekend is always in view. High 80s for Chico today, mid 80s on Friday. Then we jump back to the low 90s very briefly for Saturday. Back to the high 80s Sunday with mid 80s next week, and low temperatures mostly in the high 50s. Redding 90 degrees today, 89 Friday, then low 90s through your weekend with mid to high 80s on the way for next week's forecast. So it does look very, very nice out there in the extended forecast, especially with those mid 80s towards the middle of next week. Megan and Julia.
Thanks, Cor.